तो पे जाऊं भैया ना मरोड़ो हटो नट खट कुंवर कन्हाई बलिहारी तो पे जाऊं इतनी बिनती मोरे मान ले कन्हाई अब इतनी बिनती मोरे मान ले कन्हाई। So today, everyone, I'm so excited. We have Shannon Boodram, as you know her probably on YouTube as Shan Boodram, which is she's amazing and one of a kind, sexologist. Yes, we have her today.
Then something inside of me said, no, stop doing this. There was a shame or guilt. I didn't really want to be known as the sex girl. People were approaching me on the street to ask me questions I wasn't prepared to answer at that time. Now, maybe I was too young or immature, and so I gave up on my dream. I gave up on that and I became a wedding photographer. I became a feminist writer. I became a music journalist. I became a background performer in movies. I just sort of lost my way trying to run away from that intrinsic truth that I've pretty much known my entire life. And then when I was 27, 28 years old, someone said to me, why don't you go back and do that thing? And I was like, yeah. You know, it was just like one of those things that someone suggested it and then it became like an actual ideal in my mind. And then here we are years later, like I'm able to say, like, I got myself certified as a sexologist. I was able to create a massive YouTube following. I've been a part of amazing things. This month, I am working with Women's Health to talk about women and girls and HIV prevention. Like dreams that I didn't think, you know, would be possible for someone like me are because I had the courage, or I was encouraged to go back to something that I had abandoned.
She has a Canadian bestseller called Laid. If you haven't read it, you definitely got to read it. She was featured on BET, MTV. She was also on Keke Palmer's show when Keke had her show. She's been on CNN Radio, Fox News, ABC, CBC. I'm telling you, this girl has done a lot. So I'm super excited that she's doing this project with us called the Goddess Project and just really tapping into the power within and what really drives her, what really gets her going and making a difference in the world, especially when it comes to women all over the world. So thank you so much and welcome, Shannon. How are you?
Oh, thank you. It's awesome. What a beautiful intro. I'm doing excellent. My windows are open. It's a nice day in LA, so I try my best not to complain when the weather is this good.
Awesome. Well, we're in Boston where it's frigid cold today. Lots of snow on the ground, but we still have the sun, which is not so bad. So I wanted to get into this thing that we're doing, and in the media recently has been a highlight on the goddess and spirituality, especially with Beyonce's Grammy performance, introducing the Yoruba goddess Oshan, as well as Mother Mary and the Indian goddess Kala, and really ignite everyone to like research. I mean, it was trending of Oshan and what's this about, what's the Yoruba and Africa and all these different goddesses. It was really, really amazing. But I think it's an alignment that's happening, and especially in astrology, they also spoke on this a couple years ago that around the era of the ending of 2016, women are going to be coming and taking the forefront of things. So I wanted to ask you, and so our audience gets to know you, you speak on sexuality, sex education, empowerment of women, loving their bodies, minds, and emotions. How did you get into this subject, becoming an expert, and why?
I think I just really saw an opening in a niche. I went to school originally for journalism, and then day one of journalism school, they say write what you know. And so if you love Britney Spears and Beyonce, like there's entertainment journalism. If you love politics, there's politics. You love sports, there's sports. Like don't feel like you have to hide from whatever your interest is. And my interest was really about female sexuality. Mind you, I started writing about that, and it wasn't really encouraged in school, but nonetheless, like, they gave me the initial permission whether they want to, own that or not. And the first thing that came to mind for me was that I had an idea to put a book out that was essentially the kind of sex ed that I wished that I had. And that's how Laid came about. It was my vision of what good sex ed should be. And after that, it was just a matter of, like, getting a few certifications. I went to the University of Toronto and became certified as a sex education counselor. And then I went out to California and I got my associate in sexology here. And I became a clinical sexologist this year. And I hope to continue on. Like, I do classes all the time. I do workshops. I'm just very passionate about the topic, and there's so much to learn. So I think overall, it's just like, there's no one who looks like me talking about this topic, and I really do enjoy it. So, like, why not me?
Right. So did you grow up around women who were very open about their sexuality, like your mom or aunt or anyone?
No, I don't have any examples of people like that. I come from a Caribbean household, and it's definitely not, like, in that culture. I mean, there are definitely people I know who have, like, Trini grandmas who are, like, so open and free about it. And every culture has examples of people, who are the epitome of sexual freedom. But no, my mom was not that person. Neither was definitely not my grandma or my aunt. The people that I drew inspiration from were, like, Josie Vogels and Amanda Sutchin-Stepp was one of them as well, too, and Dr. Laura Burnham. Like, so there was people that I found that I'm like, oh, they're doing it and they made a career out of it, but no, there wasn't anyone in my family.
Right. Oh, that's cool. So according to thedictionary.com, the word goddess means a female god or deity, a woman with extraordinary beauty and charm, a greatly admired or adored woman. But I truly think it's so much more than the outer. This definition, like, blocks maybe 70% or more of women. We're all gods walking on this earth plane. So what does the goddess mean to you, and do you see yourself as a goddess?
Yeah, I think to be a god is to have the ability to imagine and to create, and we can do both those things. One most spectacular thing about the human brain is that you can take two things that don't exist and put them together in your mind and create, like, a cohesive image. And then, of course, we can go on and actually create that thing. We have shown ourselves time and time again, whether it has been learning to fly. And of course, the fundamental thing that makes us all, especially women, gods and goddesses, is our ability to create life. And so I think in general, to be a god is to have the power to make your vision a reality, and the power to give life and to bring life. And that's something that I think every living creature has. And so everyone should claim the right to be a goddess, to be a god, while of course having respect for the higher power out there, but at the same time acknowledging your own.
Right. I think that so much of being a goddess is really listening within, and just really connecting with your own self. And once that alignment happens, I think that, there's so much you can do, there's so much that you can create. There's so much beyond your imagination or beyond the limits that, say, society may place or circumstances may place. So I definitely agree with you there that, it's something that of a power within, and that we are all goddesses and gods on this earth plane. So tell me, how does, like, being a goddess influence, like, your business and your health?
I'm not one of those, I'll put this disclaimer out there, I'm definitely not one of those people who, like, is into astrology and really, like, into, like, my spiritual self, and, like, walks around, like, feeling like I am a goddess. It's just, like, an intrinsic knowingness that, like, I have the ability at any moment to change my circumstances.
Right.
I'm having a bad day. Like, yesterday, for example, I was just, like, super unmotivated, and we went out, myself and my partner went out and we bought bikes. And, like, bikes has been such a missing element to my LA life, because I'm like, I live in a really central area, and it's like, I love being outside, but sometimes you can't really, like, walk there. And, like, bikes, when I first moved out at 23 years old in my parents' house and I didn't have a car, like, a bike is all I had. So that's, like, a really big nostalgic place in my life. And, like, for me in general, like, control is very, very important to me.
Right.
And a bike to me was, like, my ability to control how I got from point to point B. And so I went out and bought bikes yesterday. I came home, I had all this work to do, and I was like, I really just can't focus. And I'm like, let's go biking. We just went out biking for, like, 3 hours. And I think that that's, like, how I honor, my inner goddess. Is like, I listen to myself and I trust myself. And if I don't feel like focusing, like, luckily I've afforded the kind of life where I can make those decisions. I'm allowed to go out and say, you deserve a day to recharge.
Right.
And that is like a massive part of how I built my life, is that so that I am able to listen to what my inner desires are, and there's not massive repercussions for that. So I just think that in general, I've worked really hard at building a goddess-like life.
Right. I think that's really empowering, and just learning that the way you honor yourself, something so simple, but a lot of times we think it has to be something totally huge and totally extravagant, and it really isn't. It's just even simply walking outside or around your block, around your house, sitting still, or, going to the beach, or something that is connected to you. Whatever simple thing that you do for yourself is being a goddess within. It's meaning taking that power within and saying, you know what, I'm in control. I can do something to like clear myself and really make things happen and go forward with it. So I wanted to ask you, we talk about really tapping into and understanding ourselves, which is self-awareness. And so I wanted to ask you, why is it that a lot of women today second guess their intuition, that listening voice that's inside that we all have, and we just second guess it? Why do you think that is?
I think it's just biology. Naturally, we can have hopes and dreams, and we can have our id, but there's the id, there's the ego, there's the superego, there's nature, there's nurture, there's outside opinions, there's media, there's, subconscious brainwashing going on. And there's so many messages that are just bombarding us every single day, whether those be biological messages or external messages, or of course messages from people who are closest to us. So it's hard to really hear one single voice. And to even know, the question of like, what do you really want is a very loaded question, because how do you strip away all those things? And are you meant to? Maybe what you really want is an influenced decision, and that's okay too. So I think it's like, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, like to be our most authentic selves and be real, and you got to stay real, and only the real ones. Like, I think you get to decide what that is in every single moment. And that's even like when I see certain people adopting other cultures or adopting other things that they enjoy from other people, and people are like, you can't do that, that's not really you. And I'm like, well, why can't they decide that is them? Why can't they decide that is a celebration or extension of who they actually want to be, or who they feel they are on the inside? So I'm just a big proponent of like, listen, there's a lot of voices out there, there's a lot of choices out there, and unless you're willing to try different stuff out and listen or hear things out, you'll never really know what's right for you. And don't put the pressure on yourself to have all the right answers at all times, because nobody has a perfect score.
Right. So my couple final questions is, there's a different veils of like how people say, and I see from ones that are young girls, they see the world differently, and then we have adults who are already past that stage and see the world differently. And so I want to ask you what advice you would give to young girls who haven't come fully into their own. And the second question on that is what advice you would give to adult women who are set in their ways but fear doing things with new eyes.
So there's a book I'm reading right now called The Social Animal, which like breaks down the why. It's a fantastic book. I think everyone should read. It just explains like why we are how we are, and like what is influencing our behaviors. And it was saying that North America produces very under-successful 20-year-olds. That in your 20s, like in comparison to other countries, like if you measure us, of course, by like financial independence, having a family, owning property, and being in the right career path, like the 20-year-olds are like a gong show. But the 30-year-olds are like exceptionally successful and exceptionally, happier in comparison to other countries. Like why that is because we have a culture which gives you 10 years to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, and that pressure has been like transformed, like especially over the past 3 decades, where it's now like, yeah, you could be 28 and not with your significant other and not married and not finished school yet, or going back to school, or, working at a restaurant, trying to pursue an acting career. Like you can be 29 years old and like moving to another city to pursue a dream that you gave up when you were, 14 years old. Like that's okay now. And so take the pressure off yourself to like have it all figured out, because the more that you give yourself space to figure out who I am and what works for me by trying things and going through the trial and error process, the better chances you have, as your 30s come into play, and then of course the rest of your life, to really like know, all right, I'm in the right path, because I tried 5 other things that didn't work and this one just felt good to me. You don't have to make the right choice coming right out of high school, and, you know, by the time you're 25, you've met the right partner, and that you found the right job, like all those things. I think that pressure, just society is slowly adjusting to take it off of you, but definitely take it off of yourself. And older people as well, too. At the end of the day, it's like the only thing that's constant in this entire world is change. And you have to be open to that. And I think it's a much better life when you are open to that. When you say, like, okay, like, I give myself permission to feel different tomorrow. And that's a big part of my YouTube channel, too, is that, like, I never sit here and try and tell you guys, like, I have it all figured out or that I'm perfect. Like, I never sit here and say, like, I'm doing things the right way. I'm honoring myself in the moment. I'm exploring in a way that doesn't impinge on my health or happiness or the health or happiness of others. But I have the right to tomorrow say, like, that doesn't work for me anymore. Or that thought process is no longer, like, who Shannon Boodram is. And that's why it's so easy for me to share my personal life online, because by the time I'm sharing with you a personal story, it almost feels like an old version of me that I'm talking about, like an outdated model. And who I am now, like, doesn't really care what your opinions are of that, you know, version of Shannon that I presented to you, you know, a week or a month ago. And a part of that, again, I just think is us just being flexible and open to change and excited by that, not afraid by it.
Right. I love that. I love that part that you just said. You know, yesterday was a different Shannon than what it is today. And that's so key. That's like flowing with the wind, you know, and allowing ourselves to just flow, be still and flow. And it's okay to change. It's okay to be different. It's okay to say, you know, yesterday or few years ago, yes, I was like this, but I've come into a new self. And so many times we, I think, constrict ourselves and fighting against that change, that a lot of times we just hold ourselves back. And that opportunity or that thing that was needed for you to, like, let go and move forward, you know, can really bring what you said you desire, what you really want and desire, what you've been thinking or whatever. So I think you're definitely right. I love this, that, you know, each day we can be totally different. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been, you know, doing what you're doing. You can actually change it and do something else, you know, and no one's going to penalize you for that. You know, no one's going to, like, say, oh my gosh, you know, why did you do that? Or I can't believe you, like, just stopped that. Or I can't believe you're not dating that guy, or whatever it is. You know, it's just like, it's just about you and your walk, period. So I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So tell me, where can people learn more about you and your work and all the things that you have coming up? I would love to know.
I just shanbooty.com is a pretty good starting point, but I think all in all, in general, I just encourage everybody when it comes to sexuality as well to find whoever their muse is. Maybe it's not me. There's a lot of really amazing women and men as well, too, who are talking in this space, and what makes sex so great is that we're all dying for that Me Too moment where we can really connect with somebody. And so I encourage everybody, you know, to find someone that they really feel speaks to whatever their truth is. And maybe it's not me, but I'm proud for anybody who says, like, look, I'm going to take an active interest in sexually educating myself regardless of what age I am, and it matters to me. And that would be, I think, like the biggest testament or the biggest legacy of my career is more people, whether it was through me or somebody else, who said, like, yes, sexual empowerment works, and I want it to work for me.
Shanbooty.com, you said, right?
That's right.
Okay, shanbooty.com, everyone. And so what do you have coming up? What's new that we can look for either on your YouTube channel or something else? What do you got going?
What's really great about that question is, like, there's actually answers now, because nothing is more, I think, daunting when people ask, like, what's next? And you're like, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm eating for lunch later on today. But I feel like now what I've recently done is give myself permission to not be popping in the moment.
Okay.
Like, I think we used to live in a time where we'd be working hard at something and we'd know, okay, next year is my time. Whereas in today's day and age, it's like, there's this pressure to every day be popping. And I'm like, I so acknowledge that right now, my content is not 100%. It's because I'm preparing for a really big May. And so I'm working on a project that's for my YouTube channel, which is basically my vision to what I wanted sex ed to be. And I was pitching this idea to other production companies and various things that I've worked with in the past, and I wasn't getting the right answer. And my partner was like, why don't you do it for yourself? Like, why are you trying to sell your best idea? Like, put your best shit on your own platform. And I was like, oh my God, why would I not do that?
Right.
So I'm writing that right now, and that'll come out in May. I'm hoping to release like a 5-part episodic series. And I really want to just batch release it one time, but I'll figure that out. I'm also doing another show with another network, which I haven't announced yet, but that will be airing, I think May 15th is the air date. I start shooting that in April, so like April's a grind month. And then finally, I'm going to be doing merchandise, and I'm really excited about this. They're going to be hats, but they're going to be hats the colors of vulvas.
Wow.
And I want people to embrace whatever their color is. Like if you are more of like a blush or you're more of like a salmon color, just like wearing that on your top of your crown. So those are things that I think like May is going to be a good month for me. April's all about like prepping and grinding and just like putting stuff in the oven for a little bit. But I hope that, you know, in May it'll be a different conversation. There'll be a lot of other cool stuff, you know, to talk about because you guys have actually gotten to experience it.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations. I'm loving this. I just love when women do their own thing without anybody else interfering. I love it. You go, girl. You go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I definitely go to support whatever it is that you're going to do. Just let me know. Hit me up. And so that I can let our audience know when, where, links, whatever. And definitely thank you so much for joining me today. Again, everyone, this is Shan Boodram, and as you know her as Shan Booty on YouTube. And I'm so awesome that she did this goddess project with us today. Again, I'm Najaam Lee, and so much thank you for coming to goshabout.com. Peace.
All right, girl. Have all the best and good luck.
Thank you.